Good evening, everyone. Konbanwa. I hope you're having a good Saturday. Mine was boring. I'm basically confined to my house for the next few days, and I have been since Wednesday, so a little stir crazy, but at least I have Sumo. Thank goodness I have Sumo to watch every day and talk with you fine folk here. And tomorrow, to alleviate my sort of, I haven't talked to anyone in a while, I'm going to do a live stream. So the wrap up, not the wrap up. The wrap up is when I talk about like all the fallout, who's getting promoted, demoted, who won prizes. This is more just the sumo summary show, if you will, for day 15. We already know who won the U show, spoilers. And so we'll talk about what happened on day 15, but I'm going to do it live, 11:30 p.m. Japan time, same as the time I did it in the middle of the basho. So it's pretty early, like 7:30 a.m. in California, 10:30 a.m. in New York on that part of North America. Then in Europe, it's kind of mid-afternoon Sunday. So if you're around, you want to join in. We had about 60 people in the chat last time, which is really nice. Ask questions, give your comments. I'll send out the link on Twitter, on YouTube. So yeah, come by and have a chat about sumo tomorrow on day 15. And if you're a Patreon person, you can go watch the matches before that happens. I'll post them well before the live starts tomorrow night. Okay, let's jump right into it. Day 14, some pretty good matchups. And we'll start as always with absent people. So nobody else from the other day. Hokuto Fuji came back, Shirokuma went out, and we'll see how they did. And then we'll start down in Juryo. Now, in Juryo, really quick, I just want to remind everybody that Juryo 1, Ono Sho, is pulled out of the tournament because he got injured. And then Asanoyama is not fighting. And I believe Shimazu pulled out of the tournament. Nope, he's fighting. Oh, yeah, he did on day 11. Okay, so he's out of the tournament. So when I'm looking at the top like of the Banzuke, like who's going to get promoted, it's like a lot of these guys aren't around. So Chiyoshoma, remember him, Toki Hayate, Shishi, these are your basic core three. And then, of course, your leader is all the way down here at Juryo 11, Takeda Fuji. Okay, and the two guys right on the cusp are Oshomi and Kayo. Aoyama down there at 13. Chiyo Sakai, I think, also pulled out of the tournament, right? Yes. So he had three losses and then pulled out. And so he'll be going back down to the third tier division in November. Okay. All right. So let's look at Juryo and Oshomi at Juryo 14, 6-8. Now, if he goes 7-8 at Juryo 14, if he can get a win tomorrow, he might stay in. There's a tiny chance. It just depends who needs to come up, etc. Uh, Aonishiki, who I talked about yesterday, got the win here against Aoyama. So he went to 6-1, a very good record at MS4. So he'll probably be up in the Juryo division in November. Aoyama, unfortunately, at Juryo 13, now 5-9. So he pretty much has to win tomorrow to have any chance, I think, of staying. If he goes 5-10 at Juryo 13, it's all over. A 6-9 record, though, maybe. Maybe they'll just demote him to Juryo 14 and keep him around for one more basho. Nabatame came up from Makushita and got the win to go to 4-3. So, for instance, Juryo 12, Kuruki Ryuko is probably going to get demoted, right? Kayo, no problem there. He, in fact, got a 10th win and, in fact, beat Takeda Fuji today. So that was the big matchup to see if he could just seal the Yusho. He went to 12-2 with that loss. Good win for Kayo to go to 10-4. Hakuyozan's now 7-7. Who else is 7-7? Daiseizan. Hakuoho is 7-7, so I'll probably put his match up tomorrow on day 15. Tohakuru got his Kachikoshi. Uh, Fujiseun at Juryo 10 is 7-7. Shishi got his Kachikoshi in the penultimate match at Juryo 2. And Asakoryu beat Chiyoshoma. So both men are now 10-4, along with Kaio. So that means Takeda Fuji is the champion. Even though he lost today, the worst he can do is a 12-3 record tomorrow if he loses, and so nobody else has three losses. So he is the Juryo champion for uh, the September Basho. And if he wins, he'll go to 13-2. Now, 13-2 at Juryo 11, is that enough to get him promoted to the top? Hard to say. Hard to say. So I think we'll see. I'll see what some of the wisdom between now and the wrap-up video a week from now, some like Tachiai and some of the other people have to say about it. But Chiyoshoma's definitely going to go up. Shishi's definitely going to go up. And then Toki Hayate fought in the Makuuchi division, so we'll see his number in a minute. Okay. So a couple Jurio matches probably on the Patreon page tomorrow because still some stuff happening down there. But congratulations to Takeda Fuji. Nice to see him back in fighting spirit. And even if he doesn't go up to Makuuchi, he'll go up to Jurio 1, and then all he has to do is get his Kachikoshi, and in January he'll be back up in the top division. Okay, going up to Makuuchi. Oh, well, let's look here at who's going to fight in Jurio on day 5. Not that important, but let's see. Aoyama has a Makushita wrestler. Asakoru is fighting Tohakuru. Both already have their Kachikoshi. They're not putting 7-7 men against each other. I guess maybe these two guys have already fought each other. But here is a 7-7 versus 7-7. We call that a Darwin match, survival of the fittest. One person gets their Kachikoshi, one person doesn't. So it's Thunderdome, 2 men enter, 1 man leave. Haku Yozan and Haku Oho going for their 8th win there. Kaio pulled way up to fight Shimano Umi. And then Togi Hayate is the Juryo 2-man I was just talking about. So he went to 9-5. So he, Shishi, and Chiyoshoma should be getting the nod to go up. Takeda Fuji, we'll just have to see if they also bring him. Tsurugisho, at Juryo 7, no danger of demotion to another division, but obviously he can't get Kachikoshi. He's basically 5-9, and he fights Chiyoshoma in the final match of the day. So that means Shishi must be fighting in the top division tomorrow. Okay. So let's go back to day 14 and see what happened in the top division today. Nishiki Fuji started with a much needed win against Toki Hayate. So I guess he'd already had 9 wins. So he went to 9-5 with the loss. He can go to 10 wins tomorrow, though. So Nishiki Fuji desperately, I think, needs that 8th win tomorrow. Ryuden 7-7 now after losing to Hokuto Fuji, who keeps his hopes of a Kachikoshi alive with a 7th win. Both men not in danger of demotion, but both needing their 8th win tomorrow. Tamawashi puts himself in the position to get an 8th win tomorrow by beating Takara Fuji. Roga gets his Kachikoshi over Kimbozan. Onokatsu, I think, at again, Maegashira 14, he's got enough of a cushion there, Maegashira 15, 16, to be okay if he loses tomorrow. But obviously, if he wins, I think there's no problem. He'll definitely stay in the top division. Ichi Yamamoto going for his Kachikoshi tomorrow. Oshoma getting it at 9-5. Endo losing to Kageyaki, only his 2nd win. Now at Maegashira 11, he's 6 wins below Kachikoshi, right? And usually you think of it as 1 rank per below the number you need, right? So he would drop 6 spots if he finishes 2-13. And 6 spots from Maegashira 11 is Maegashira 17. So he might stay in the top division, he might not, but a 3rd win tomorrow, I think, would really help. So I think he will be kind of desperate to get that 3rd win to stay in the top division. Midori Fuji improves his hopes of getting Kachikoshi. Another win today to go to 7-7. Sada Naumi's got to wait until tomorrow. He lost to Chira Naumi. Wakamoto Haru, 10 wins. Doing very well at Maegashira 3. Won't leapfrog up to Komusubi, but he'll go up to M1 in November and beat Koto Shoho. Tommy Fuji just can't seem to get Kachikoshi. We were talking about it in the videos today. So if you look, 7-8, 7-8, then had a Kachikoshi at M2 in March, but before that, 6-9. And then before that was when people were kind of talking about him, and there was some buzz when he was at M8, and went 11-4 with the Kanto show. And then since then, he's just had terrible, well, not terrible records, but he just hasn't been able to get Kachikoshi other than this one time. So, but he's kind of sticking around M1, M2. And if he goes to 7 and 8, they'll probably only demote him to M3. He'll stick around the top of the Maegashira ranks. So we'll see how he does in November. Nishikigi held on to his three-loss record by getting another win over Oho. Oho is the most likely candidate to get promoted unless if Wakamoto Haru wins tomorrow to go to 11 wins and Oho loses, they might take the 11-win M3 over the 8-win M2 to go to Komusubi. So there is a danger for Oho. I think he really needs the win tomorrow to ensure that he's the one chosen to get promoted to Komusubi. Both M1s obviously losing record, etc. Wakataka Kage at M7, an 11th win. He preserved his three-loss record. And, these guys are probably the ones who might get a special prize tomorrow, especially if they get a 12th win. It might be conditional. Daisho, the Komusubi, already has his 8, so he's not really worrying too much. But a ninth win tomorrow would be good because he'll probably get promoted up to Sekewake. And with Hirada Umi losing today to go to 6 and 8, he'll be demoted, and perhaps we'll have two open Komusubi slots. And that would mean maybe Oho and Wakamoto Haru would get promoted. So it might not be a competition, as I was pointing out. Shodai at M4, also really good record, 10-4, just a little bit behind Wakamoto Haru there. Maegashira 5 Ura could get 10 wins tomorrow, but he won't be able to pass any of the other guys in line. Kirishima went to 11-3, preserved his three-loss record by beating Takayasu. And Kotozakura got his Kachikoshi by beating Abi. Then in the final match of the day, Ono Sato beat Hoshoru for the first time on the dohyo. And some of you might look at the record and go, "Oh, but he's 1-3 against Hoshoru." Well, the one time he won was a walkover win right here. See this Hoshoru match in July? It's a square because Hoshoru pulled out of the tournament, if you remember. And so this was the free win that Onosato got at the end of the July tournament. So in the previous three meetings, if you look, he lost to Hoshoru here. He lost to Hoshoru on the final day of the March tournament. And in January, he lost to Hoshoru. So he had lost to Hoshoru every time on the dohyo until today, and he prevailed. It was a good match, and he is now 13-1. So as soon as he won that match, all the three lost guys ceased to matter, and he is the champion without even worrying about tomorrow. He is the September Basho champion. Definitely going to get promoted to Ozeki and win the Yusho. So what a month for Onosato. Huge, huge win for him. Hoshoru, on the other hand, is now 7-7. So he'll fight Kotozakura in the final match of the day tomorrow, and that will be for his Kachikoshi. Kotozakura doesn't really matter, but he'll put up a good fight. But Hoshoru needs that win to avoid being Kadoban. Okay, so that means if we go over and we look at the leaders board, they still have these three guys listed, but they can't win, right? The worst he can do is go 13-2 if he loses tomorrow. And these guys, the best they can do is 12-3. So he is the champion, Takeda Fuji as well. So we might as well shift from this board to the champions. So there you go. Onosato, 24 years old, from Nishinoseki stable. And the big thing there is his debut was in May of 2023. I think this might be one of the fastest runs from debut to Ozeki in sumo history. And we'll talk more about that in the wrap-up video as I find out more of that type of information. Takeda Fuji winning his second championship. And has he won the Juryo Championship before? Yeah, he's won the Juryo Championship before. So he's got a number of titles now. Look, he's got a Jonokuchi title, a Jonidan title, and a bunch of prizes. So barely been in the top division, but already got a bunch of prizes. Down in Makushita, number 16, Hatsuyama won, 7-0, perfect record, 24. So it's good that some of these younger guys are winning. Kawazoe, won down in Sandamne, and uh, Jonokuchi was won by a 19-year-old from Mongolia. Let's see if there's a picture of him. Wow, there you go. 184 centimeters. Not a huge guy, but good for him. So the only one that's still being contested, there must be a playoff going to happen in one of the divisions down here. Yeah, in Jonidan. In Jonidan. So these two guys will fight in a playoff to determine the winner of the, what do you call that? The fifth tier division, second from the bottom, fifth from the top. And we won't get any playoffs in the top two divisions. Okay, so let's look at the matchups for tomorrow on day 15. So as I said, she's coming up to fight Kim Bozon. Both men, it doesn't really matter that much. But Shishi would like another win to help cement his promotion back, not back up, but to the top division. Onokatsu and Sadanoumi, I think this is an important match for both of these guys, so that's a good one. Roga versus Kitsunowaka. Tamawashi Ryuden, another Darwin match here between two guys who are 7-7. Only one of them can get Kachikoshi, much more important for Ryuden. Oshoma, okay, another 7-7 versus 7-7. Nishiki Fuji definitely needs that win more than Ichi Yamamoto. Another 7-7, basically, if you add the 5 and 2 together. Hokuto Fuji versus Midori Fuji. Then Wakataka Kage has Takayasu, so they're not going to have Takayasu fight Onosato, which makes sense because he was limping a bit today as he lost. Kageyaki going for his third win that I think he needs against Gonoyama, Wakamoto Haru Ura. So Shodai Oho, Atami Fuji, Shonano Umi, Meisei versus Tobizaru, Takanosho versus Koto Shoho. Who are they going to have Onosatu fight? Abi. Okay, they are going to give him the Sekewake. I guess it doesn't matter so much, so why not? Kirishima against Daisho, Hirada Umi against Mitake Umi, and Kotozakura Hoshoru. So not a lot of consequential matches in here. He already has his Kachikoshi. He can't get his Kachikoshi. It doesn't matter. Well, it kind of matters for Kirishima if he can get a 12th win. If he wants to start talking about an Ozeki run, then the wins count for him. Daisho is going to go up to Sekewake. Abi's going down. He knows that. He won the Yusho already. And then these two guys, it matters for Hoshoru, right? So, yep, I'll have a bunch of matches for you. Probably some of the 7-7s because those are kind of fun on day 15 on the channel. Okay. And let's look ahead. So the next Basho is the November Basho in Fukuoka. Tickets go on sale actually pretty soon. Wait, they already did. Aha. That's so weird when this happens. But I didn't actually plan to get tickets, but I had a fan reach out to me who said, "Hey, I've got an extra ticket." So that's how I might be able to go to Fukuoka and see the bus show in November. The sumo ranking comes out at the end of October, which is the final Monday in October. And the actual bus show is November 10th to the 24th. And that is probably right around Thanksgiving weekend in America. Okay, and then they're already showing you what we got going on in 2025. And of course, the big thing is the new July tournament in a new place, the Aichi International Arena, which is different than the old prefectural gymnasium. So that's kind of fun. Okay. Standings in the contest. Not surprised because Nishikigi won and Takayasu didn't. I said there could be a big change, and it is Quimby now all alone in first place with 62 points because all of these people have Takayasu. And then we have a six-way tie for second. And then we have a nine-way tie for third. We got some people in there we haven't seen before, like Drop Tuned. Rick Caho was new. William Corbin, Roman, Bruce 67, Mr. Pachisi, Char. Okay, all in the running. But a lot of them have very, very much the same team members. Like if Wakamoto Haru loses and Shodai wins, there could be some stuff moving. It's Yamamoto versus Oshoma, Nishikigi versus Takayasu. So a little bit. Most likely Hoshoro will win and Kotozakura will lose, and then but that just evens them out. The Hoshoru people would maybe drop down if Kotozakura wins and he loses. But anyway, so how many of you have a team that everybody got Kachikoshi? Like all six of the members here for Gumby got a Kachikoshi. My team, not everybody got a Kachikoshi. Let's go down. Where am I? I think, oh no, I'm not even in eight anymore. Oh no. Okay, here I am. So Kotozakura got a Kachikoshi, Onosato Oho got a Kachikoshi, Wakataki yes, Roga yes, but Ono Katsu. Six, he get a seventh tomorrow. So I could go up a little bit, depending on who wins and loses on my team, Roga, Oho. But most of my team got a Kachikoshi. So hopefully you did well, and we'll talk about that in the wrap-up video. The wrap-up video will probably go up on Saturday the 28th or Sunday the 29th. So there you go. Okay, guys, I think that's about it for me tonight. I'm going to enjoy my Sunday and then be on the couch. Remember, everything starts, if you want to watch live, everything starts about a half hour earlier on Senshiraku, the final day of sumo. So, and Jurios happens much earlier because they have to make room for prizes and a speech by the chairman and the playoff things, etc. So definitely, if you want to watch a live stream or something and you normally tune in at 4 o'clock Japan time, tune in about 3:30 Japan time for the start of the top division. And like I said, if you're a Patreon person, I probably won't mask the championship interview because there's no real spoilers. We know who it is, so I'll just post that video as it comes at the end of all the other videos for tomorrow. We'll see what Onosato has to say for himself about being promoted to Ozeki and winning the Yusho, his second. Anything else? Nope. So I'm looking forward to the live stream tomorrow night. I'm going to give you guys a little quiz using sumo cards. And we'll just talk about what happened on day 15 and the entire show. We can talk about our feelings about the entire show. So we'll have three Ozeki in November. Do we feel like Terunofuji is going to make it back? I hope he does for at least one more tournament. And we can talk about how brand new Ozeki rarely perform well. And maybe I'll go through and I'll look at a bunch and try to give you some stats. But yeah, a lot of you are like, wow, Onosato could win another championship in November. And they generally don't. And it's for many reasons. We'll talk about it tomorrow night. Okay, guys, take care. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace.